Welcome everyone to the September 2nd edition of What's Happening in Crypto with the Crypto Lark, broadcasting to you from New Zealand and bringing you all of the latest from the crypto world and beyond. Today's top stories, the latest on Ethereum, big news out of East Asia, Bitcoin Cash has an interesting stress test, and the intersection between Bitcoin and art continues. Bitcoin $7,161.50. Overall, a great week for the markets, but you do have to remember, even though we've had some 20 or 30% gains for altcoins over the last 7 days, we are still down 80 to 90% on almost everything. Something to keep a little bit of perspective, even though we are seeing some welcome green in the markets. Ethereum developers reach consensus to reduce issuance to 2 Ethereum per block. Of course, last year we went down from 5 to 3. Now we're going down from 3 to 2. There were also proposals on the table to take it down to 1.5 or 1 Ethereum per block. 2 was what was decided on by the developers. Interesting development. It would be nice to see some more serious issues being tackled by the Ethereum developers in terms of when are we going to see sharding, scalability issues, moving to the proof of stake model, etc., etc. But this is what we have at the moment. Colombian President promises to cut rent taxes for crypto firms in yet another move by nation states trying to attract crypto business to their shores. Over in Japan, the messaging app Line, been in the news a lot recently in relations to crypto. They will be launching their own cryptocurrency. Now, they are not having an ICO. The Line token is being minted. The incentives for user activities, so it'll be for, like sharing and things like this. So you'll actually be able to earn it. They won't be giving it out via an ICO, which I think was a pretty good move on their part, incentivizing people to actually get in and use their application instead of raising money to put it out there, considering that Line already has plenty of money. Japan's largest bank experiments using their own crypto at a convenience store. Now, when we think about the issuance of cryptocurrencies, I know we've had a lot of central banks looking at it. Obviously, a lot of companies are experimenting with it, but to see really big banking consortiums coming together and saying, hey, you know what? We could just be issuing our own, MUFG coin, basically, or a Bank of America coin, or an HSBC coin. Over in Hong Kong, they have a situation where there are 3 banks and they all co-produce the money in terms of actually issuing the banknotes out. So you'll get an HSBC banknote or a Standard Chartered Bank or a Bank of China banknote. Maybe we'll see that in the future for cryptos, where you go to Japan and you have multiple different cryptocurrencies that are maybe pegged to the value of the yen, as an example, that you might be able to use. Interesting, the level of experimentation that we do see going on here, though. Rakuten, Japanese e-commerce giant, acquires a crypto exchange to fast track into the Japanese crypto markets. Instead of course, going out and trying to acquire their own license, just buy someone else's license. As we've said many times before, opening up a crypto exchange is a license to print money. Although the Japanese market is an incredibly competitive one, they do have the advantage of having this e-commerce platform behind them, so they already have a lot of people that they can probably hook into in terms of getting them to become customers, but they certainly have their work cut out for them trying to get a big share in the Japanese crypto market. UAE startup launches first ever Sharia compliant Islamic crypto exchange. We have seen some very interesting developments in this over the past 6 months or so, with Bitcoin, for example, being declared Sharia compliant, Stellar Lumens actually receiving certification of Sharia compliance. Now we have Sharia compliant crypto exchanges. This is going to be really expanding the potential of crypto to millions of new buyers who might not otherwise have felt comfortable getting into crypto. Bitcoin Cash has a stress test, 2 million transactions in 24 hours. Average fee was super low, 23.8 transactions per second, processing 85,000 transactions per hour. Now, compared to Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash has done a lot more transactions in the last 24 hours, proving that their on-chain big block scaling does work at scale. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that this is actually well below the potential for Bitcoin Cash transaction-wise, with a lot of the blocks actually still being far from full. So that's definitely some good news for Bitcoin Cash in terms of actually building that out. Now, very impressive to see so many transactions during the stress test, but currently, of course, Bitcoin does remain king in terms of daily transactions, with Bitcoin Cash somewhere around 25 to 30,000 transactions daily, as you can see down here. That is a tenth of what Bitcoin does on a daily basis. Bitcoin Cash still has a long road ahead of it in terms of getting merchant adoption, getting people to actually transact in Bitcoin Cash. On an average day, Dogecoin or Litecoin have around the same number of transactions. That is something to keep in perspective. Although the stress test is an encouraging moment for Bitcoin Cash, yet the Bitcoin Cash community does face a very difficult few months moving ahead. Craig Wright releasing the Bitcoin Satoshi Vision Cash client. This is crazy. We are really seeing some very divisive things happening in the Bitcoin Cash community, as Roger Ver, Jihan Wu, and Craig Wright, as well as some key developers, are all falling out with each other. We may see multiple forks of Bitcoin Cash happening over the next couple of months. I know that some of those personalities are trying to downplay this, saying, well, it's just a bit of disagreement, everything's going to be okay. Potential to see forks happening. It's likely. It's likely at this point. And that is crypto. And it's not a bad thing to see these people going off, but it does hurt the Bitcoin Cash community, because every time there is a fork, every time there is a split in the community becomes divided. People leave. This is what happened with the Bitcoin community, where we had a certain percentage of that community leave to not only start Bitcoin Cash, of course, but now it seems to start Bitcoin Satoshi Vision and Bitcoin Jihan and Bitcoin Roger. And it's a bit crazy, but we'll have to see where Bitcoin Cash ends up by the end of the year, even though their stress test was very positive. People's Insurance Company of China, one of the largest insurers globally with $126 billion in assets, is going to be embracing blockchain technology with the help of DNVGL and, more importantly for us, VChain. Whoa, this is just, you know, if VChain wasn't VChain, I would go, oh my God, this is the biggest partnership ever. But for VChain, this is just like, oh yeah, another partnership that is insanely massive. So well done to VChain for continuing to land unbelievable partnerships. That is absolutely huge. Bitcoin spotted at this year's Burning Man. Of course, I speculated recently in my live stream about the Burning Man bump. Now, the author here is actually quite skeptical, or seems not to know a lot about Burning Man overall, calling people who go to Burning Man faux hippies. It's really not a hippie thing at all when it comes down to it. But there is a Bitcoin installation there. They make fun of it because they took a picture of it during the day. At night, I think would actually look really cool. being lit up with these 3 shining emblems of Bitcoin shining out across the desert. Would be pretty cool. A slightly more interesting bit is that an artist in the UK called Lincoln Townley recently sold an entire collection of his art for cryptocurrency. And what is probably a freaking fantastic decision, considering where the markets are at currently, if he's selling $100,000 art pieces and getting paid in Bitcoin now for those. Very, very clever indeed, Mr. Townley. Now, this is quite a famous artist with many famous people like Al Pacino and Michael Caine and Ronaldinho actually owning this guy's art. Apparently, this was all done peer-to-peer, actually taking the auction houses out of the equation with serious buyers expressing their interest directly to the artist on social media and deals being worked out there, payments happening in cryptocurrencies, more money going straight to the artist, not to mention a cheeky little time to be acquiring Bitcoin, my friend. And finally, in Bitcoin art news, Bitcoin gets a mention on rapper Eminem's new album, Kamikaze. Now, in particular, it says, "Remember, everybody used to bite nickel. Now everybody doing Bitcoin." Okay, cool. It's like one word out of an entire album. But that being said, I think this is more, instead of going, oh my God, Bitcoin was mentioned on an Eminem album, how cool is that? This is actually just a reinforcement of what a cultural phenomenon Bitcoin has become and continues to be, and the building of that overall cultural power of Bitcoin is absolutely massive. So every time these rappers or whoever mentions Bitcoin, this is a good thing. More people are hearing about Bitcoin, more people are getting into it, and for a certain amount of people, this is the first time they'll ever hear the word Bitcoin. But a lot of rappers haven't mentioned it recently, which is pretty cool. Anything that can help bring Bitcoin to the masses, they are definitely welcome allies. Thanks so much for watching today's episode. Let me know what you think about any of the stories down below in the comments section. Thumbs up the video and share these videos around the internet to help our community grow. Make sure you come and join the conversation over on Telegram or Twitter or Steam it. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.